All right, guys. It's been a while, huh? Welcome back. Finally got a chance to sit down and kind of update you guys on what's been going on and new exciting news. The guys, me, myself as well, and the guys, we've all been tied up with life, kids, sports, vacations, etc. We haven't prioritized the podcast to sit down and put a lot of our last season stuff on camera. So we'll get to that soon. I'm going to start bugging the guys here over the next couple months to come over and sit down and just chop it up for a little bit and kind of recap some of our learnings from last season. Definitely want to share that with you guys, what we learned, what we've seen. And like I said, the whole purpose of this channel is just kind of, we're a bunch of newer hunters, and we want to kind of share our experiences, and so we can all collectively get better as a whole. So, just hopefully I can make that happen sooner than later, but for sure going to make it happen. So like I said, welcome back. For those of you that have reached out to us over the off season, definitely appreciate it. Good talking to all you guys. Appreciate the encouragement, the support, et cetera, so definitely really appreciate it. I can't say that enough. So, all right. So we'll go ahead and get into it. I got some exciting news. I finally got a dog. After, I think I've been hunting 5 seasons. After 5 seasons of running through the mud, sweating, breathing hard, damn near passing out, I finally got a dog. I'm super excited. I can't wait to not have to sweat and burn my lungs out running through the mud. If some of you guys have watched some of the hunt videos, and I mean, that's all you hear is breathing. So I'm finally going to put an end to that, hopefully. So super excited about that, as well as not just that hunting aspect, and but super excited to welcome a new family member, have another dog in the house. We got 2 dogs now. So one, I have an English bulldog, which he's useless as all get out. Great family dog, great personality, funny, loving, caring. Couldn't be better with the kids. So Pumbaa serves his purpose in the family, but it was time for me to get a working dog. Now, I'll kind of get into that journey of how I came about getting the dog. So, but just like I said, man, super excited. A lot of learning. I'm going to be teaching him, and he's going to be teaching me as well. So, super excited to look forward to that. All right, so let's get into the journey that I went on, or the rabbit hole that I went on to getting a dog. So mid-season last year, I started to look at different kennels and go on this search for the right companion for me. So with me, bloodline was obviously important. My idea of a bird dog, I would love to have a freaking machine when it comes to birds. And then I want a good family dog. So kind of, bloodline was important to me. I wanted a strong pedigree. And like I said, I really wanted a machine when it came to birds. Originally, I had, and this was highly recommended to me, and I talked to a lot of guys who had their dogs from this kennel. A lot of the guys that I kind of talked to and reached out to, especially and just talking to them through the channel and stuff like that, recommended High Test. And so I was like, okay, I'll reach out to them, and which I did. And I'll kind of get into it a little bit, but it didn't matter what kennel I went with. I would have ended up with the dog at the same time. But I wanted to, I preferred, timeline wise, I preferred to get a dog in the spring of this year, or as early as possible this year. And reasoning behind that is I wanted to get a good amount of training time. I wanted it out of duck season. And that way I can, donate a shit ton of my time to training the dog. Now, I originally called High Test and put my name on a list, and, I was further out than the timeline that I wanted. So I ended up searching around, did some more searching for kennels, and I came across Southern Oak Kennels. Now, I've heard of Southern Oak Kennels before I even started duck hunting. I heard of them, so I knew they had a good reputation. But then I noticed that they were British labs only and not American labs. So started to look at the difference between British and American labs, and there's some pros and cons, whatever. It all equals out the same, right? The lab is going to be a lab. They're going to work hard. No matter how much, depending on how much training you put into them, that's what you're going to get in the field. So, got in contact with Southern Oak Kennels. Barton Ramsey reached out to me. We set up, he showed me a few breedings that he had coming up over, early. They were gonna breed later in the year, and then so slotted time was, hey, maybe early spring, or not early spring, excuse me, mid to late spring. We'll have a litter for you. So put in my deposit. I called. Well, I didn't even have a chance to call High Test back and say, take me off the list. What happened was, as soon as, I want to say about a week after I put my deposit down with Southern Oak Kennels, High Test called me and said that they had a male available, and that the buyer backed out. And I was kind of bummed because, oh man, that would have been perfect, because I would have had that much more time to train the dog. So I ended up having to tell High Test, like, hey, I put a deposit down for a dog already. And by the way, take my name off of the list for future breedings. So with that being said, a lot of things happened from the time that I put the deposit down to the time that I actually got a dog. So originally I was assigned to a litter. The female didn't take for that litter. So obviously I got pushed to another litter. So got pushed to another litter. There was two that I was able to choose from. So I was able to look at the stud and the female at the same time, kind of look at little features that I wanted and et cetera. So, got moved to another litter, and then, that they were supposed to be born, June. Yes, they were supposed to be born in June. They were born in June. But there were some issues with the litter. If you guys know, dog breeding is a tough field to be in, especially when you have to, in birth defects are normal. I believe it happens. You run a risk of 10% of defects in your litters over a year. So Obviously, the litter that I was assigned to now, there were some birth defects there, and that the litter wasn't going to work out. So some were adopted, some had to be put down, unfortunately. So Barton contacted me, kind of filled me in on that, and presented me with a few more options. So, I can get moved to another litter, which would have been, I think they were born at this time. They were born early, no, not early August. They were born mid-July. So that would have put me out about September-ish on getting a dog. So the kennel with Southern Oak Kennels, they have kennels all over the United States. Okay, so they have some in Texas, I believe Mississippi, Kansas. They have them kind of all over the place, right? So the litter was supposed to be out of Wichita, Kansas. So the breeder over there, his name's Noah. So Barton contacted Noah, introduced me to Noah. Noah called me up and said, "Hey, I have two males that I was gonna keep for myself." He goes, "I think me and one of the males are kind of, hitting it off a little bit more. He's 12. They're both 12 weeks old. Come check this 12-week-old male out." So me personally, I was kind of turned off by that originally. And I think it was more of, I wanted the original puppy stage. So I wanted that 8-week-old little fluff ball. And I think my wife wanted it too, but, I was kind of like, I'm really not, I don't want a 12-week-old puppy. Like I want a puppy, So, I said, the hell with it. I'll entertain it. So, he sent me a couple videos, a couple pictures, and then the pedigree. The pedigree is stacked. His dad's a field champion over in the UK. So basically, they impregnated the mother, imported her here to the United States, and then she gave birth here. So that's the way they got to do it. If they're not here in the United States. So, he said, I was planning on keeping the two males, and I got another female that I was keeping from that litter for myself. And I was going to either train them and hunt test them, or I was going to train and sell. So, kind of talked about what I wanted in a dog. I explained I want high drive for sure. That's the number one thing. The family dog will come with training and socialization. So, but I just said, I'm focused more on high drive. So with that, he said, "Hey, I think this dog will be perfect for you. And I think that you'll be more than equipped enough to handle it, and you'll get exactly what you want." So I was like, "All right, well, I'll take a trip out to you. I'll see the dog in person and make a decision from there." So, on a whim, within like a day, I booked a flight, said, "Hey, I'll be out there." So went out there on a Tuesday night, flew out to Wichita, Kansas, stayed the night, Tuesday night, and then went out to linked up with Noah the following morning on Wednesday. So met up with him, met the dog in person, and the dog just was something that he caught my attention. That's really all I can say. And I felt that it was right. He's pretty laid back, but then on the same side with his other siblings, he was like balls to the wall. So I just felt like it was a good balance of when I'm ready to get active, I'm going to be 100%. And when I'm ready to chill, I'm going to chill. So, you know, I decided to go ahead and, get him. So, let's kind of talk about my, my journey on the way back home. So obviously, and for those of you who haven't experienced flying with a dog, I'll kind of get into that. It's not difficult, but there are some things that you're going to be worried about, and things that I was paranoid about too. So, obviously, I had to have a carrier to put him in. Obviously, he's a little bit bigger, so that he was cramped in the carrier, etc. So basically got him, I think I left Noah's house around noon. And he's not in Wichita, but he's right outside of Wichita, which is probably 20 minutes away from the airport. So I had some time to kill. My flight was at 7. So I went and sat down at a brewery and ate and, drank some brews and stretched that out to as long as I can. And then, went into the airport. Now, the airport comes, basically in order to bring a pet on the plane, at the check-in gate, not check-in gate, but the service desk where you check in, you basically declare a pet. You pay for Southwest. It was like $99 to bring a pet on the plane with you. So did that, got through security. Basically you just pull them out and you hold them and you send your carrier through the x-ray, and then you walk through the metal detector with the dog yourself. So once you get through that, there's nothing else that you need to do regarding security or whatever it may be. So prior to that, I had requested that Noah not feed the dog prior to me getting there, because for one, I didn't want to deal with pooping. As puppies, it goes in and it comes right out instantly, damn near. So I requested that he didn't feed the dog, which he didn't, and then just very, very, very slim on water. So we're not worrying about peeing and stuff like that. So get into the airport. Got about 2 hours until my flight. And so this whole entire time I'm paranoid about bathroom, right? I want him to go to the bathroom before we get on the plane. So I'm taking him to the little pet relief area. And by the way, there's some other things that I should have done differently when it comes to that. And I'll get into that anyway. So I took him to the pet relief area a shit ton of times. He didn't go to the bathroom. I was super paranoid. And as we got closer to the flight, then they delayed the flight for an hour. So I'm like, oh, this is more time for me to worry about my dog either shitting on the plane or pissing on the plane. So I spent some more time taking him to the pet relief area. Still didn't go. So I was getting ready to board the plane, and something said, hey, try it one more time. So finally I go back to the pet relief area. He goes in there, he poops. I'm like, cool, we're set. So, had a layover in Denver, for about 45 minutes ish. So once again, still paranoid about going to the bathroom. So tried to get him to go to the bathroom there. He didn't. And then I think it was about an hour and a half flight from Denver to Sacramento. So I was like, well, it's a shorter flight, but I'm just hoping that he holds it. So we get on the flight, we make it. Boom. We get to Sacramento, get to the parking lot, get him over into some grass and he poops there. So now it's an hour home from Sacramento. So I was pretty confident we'd make it. And he hadn't had any food or water for that entire time. So he was pretty pooped out and dried out. So we were going to make it. Now, going back to when I said I would have did the pet relief area a little bit different. So I didn't think about it beforehand, but with the pet relief areas, you run into a lot of different, you run into a high use area, right? So just think of the public the bathrooms in the airport. It gets a lot of traffic. And you get a lot of different germs, viruses, they're just a breeding hub for those, right? So I didn't take that into consideration. So in the future, and if you guys ever travel with the dog, I wish I would have brought puppy pads so that I can set up an area in that place for him to go to the bathroom instead of using the turf pad that all the other dogs use. Now, if you guys have never been in one of those, all it is it looks like the family use restrooms, and basically there's just a little turf raised box that has a sprinkler system built into it. So once they're done using the bathroom, you hit the sprinkler system and it washes it down, right? But it doesn't disinfect it. So, just future reference, if you guys ever travel with the dog or go pick up a puppy, make sure you bring your own puppy pads, and then you can also use the family restroom as well if you don't even want him coming into contact with, because the dog may step up on that little platform with the turf and stuff like that, and the stuff gets on their paws, they end up licking their paws, and it's just it's a breeding ground for viruses and parasites, etc. So enough about that. Just something that I thought about after the fact. I was like, I should have did it this way, but you live and you learn, right? So, all right. So, like I said, I mentioned, he was a male. His name is Vader, like Darth Vader, black male, British Lab. And, so I'm going to touch on this lightly because, some people were giving me shit about it, right? So why a male? Some of the guys were like, dude, you're gonna regret that, dude. They're so hard-headed, they're this and that, they're so difficult to deal with. I'm never getting a male again, and blah blah blah, this, and I'm females from here on out, and blah blah blah, this and that. Me personally, I want a super, super high drive dog. I'm not saying you don't get that in females. But I want dick out, foaming at the mouth when the birds are flying. And you talk about, there's some comparisons with females to males. The males are in it for themselves, and the females kind of are doing it for their owner and this and that. I don't care if he's doing it for himself, as long as he's listening, and which we can find out. I'll probably run into some hard-headed moments, but I think training is going to trump all of that. I'm going to be really, really particular on training. I'm going to train, and I'm going to train, and I'm going to train, and I'm going to train again, and when I'm done training, I'm going to do some more training. So hopefully, I will run into those hard head moments. But I feel that with the amount of training that I'm going to do with him, that will overcome those areas. So, so we'll see. We will see, how that works out. I could be shooting myself in the foot right now, but either way, either way, I'm gonna have a good bird dog. So, all right. So, obviously, got him home safe. Noticed actually when I was in the airport. Noticed when I was in the airport that he had diarrhea. So, and diarrhea could be a lot of things. It can be stress. It can be, whatever it may be. They could have ate something, whatever. So, kind of monitor it for the next few days. He had a vet appointment the next day. I got home Wednesday night. He had a vet appointment on Thursday to get dewormed. And then the breeder had administered some vaccines. So the vet didn't want to add a few other vaccines on top of that. So they waited to administer vaccines, but they dewormed them as well. So got home, still noticed that the diarrhea was continuing. So I'm thinking maybe it's just the stress or maybe it's the dewormer, etc. So monitored that for the next couple of days. It didn't get better. Switched them to a bland diet, which is chicken and rice. It didn't help at all. So ended up getting him a fecal test, taking a fecal sample, got that tested, took it to the vet. He ended up testing positive for Giardia. So medicated him for that. That cleared it up within like 2 or 3 days. Then he started dropping, solid stool. So that was a bit of a journey, but nothing major. It cleared it right up. So was happy about that. And then after that, it's just basically, getting them acclimated, to the home, to the kids, which is going along fine. All right. I got cut off. My, camera overheated. But yeah, let's get right back into it. I believe I don't even know where I left off at. But anyway, he's settling in nice, good with the kids, good with the family. So I want to get into, training. Okay. So training. So I made the decision to, train the dog myself. And I went back and forth, over it. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to spend the time training it because I knew it'd be a lot of time, or if I wanted to, send it to a trainer. Now, I guess my thoughts on that, I kind of weighed the pros and the cons. Yeah, I don't have to put the work in myself. If I were to send it to a trainer, okay, I don't have to do the work myself. It'll be less frustrating. I don't know anything about training dogs, for one. That was another thing, is I don't know how I'm going to train this fucking dog. And then I kind of looked at the cons of it too. So for one, number one con is the price of it, right? So most kennels will charge $2,000 per month to train your dog, and then that's a minimum of 3 to 4 months. So you're looking at $6,000 to $8,000 on top of not seeing your dog for 3 months, 4 months, whatever it may be, and 5 if the dog's not really grasping it, right? So the goal, if you did that, you got to be committed to it. We're going to see this till the end until he's ready to go, right? So, and then besides the price, also having a good bond with the dog. Your dog works with a random trainer for 4 months, 5 months. That's going to be the dog's master per se. That dog is going to have a bond with that trainer more than it does you originally, right? The dog comes back. Yeah, the dog's going to be friendly. The dog's going to be smart, trained or whatever, but that bond isn't going to be the bond that the trainer shared with the dog. Now that could build over the next, 2-3 years when you have the dog, but something that I really did not want to risk. And then just kind of I put some feelers out too. And, some of the guys were saying, yeah, dude, the bond is, crazy when you train the dog yourself, et cetera. Right. So kind of weighed those options and kind of came to the decision that I was going to train the dog myself. Now what that looks like, I don't know a thing about training dogs. I've never had a Labrador before. I've had a working dog when I was younger. It was German Shepherd, but never did any training outside of sit and stay and no. I've never done it. So, I was kind of feeling a little overwhelmed on how am I going to do this? So I started searching, I searched YouTube. I spent, like I said, I went down a rabbit hole on dog training, and I watched a few dudes, train their dog from a puppy all the way to an adult. And I mean, they use different things. There's one guy that used one of the old school DVDs. One of the guys, he used a book and read the book line by line and followed that program. But I kind of, after viewing a lot of the videos, I kind of figured out like, hey, really the training is not bad. It's shorter than I thought, right? I thought that these guys were putting in hours upon hours with these dogs. And that just wasn't the case. It was, 5-minute training sessions here and there, 2-3 times a day. So the more I looked into it, the more, feasible it became and more possible and more confident that, I became just by watching and kind of getting, educated on, how the dogs work, how training works, the structure of it, et cetera. So, in the whole YouTube rabbit hole that I went down, I came across a channel called Lone Duck Outfitters. It's run by a trainer named Bob Owens, and something kind of, I don't know, I just kind of gravitated towards his style of training. He was super particular and super nitpicky with the dogs. So with me and other facets of my life with training, or not training, but coaching, whether it's baseball or youth football, I'm really picky on certain things. And I guess that kind of drew me towards it. Right. So started kind of diving into his channel, looking at, the way he taught, the way he trained with the dogs and stuff like that. It just kind of stuck out to me. So I found out that he had a program called Zero to Duck Dog, which guides you from 8 weeks old all the way to a year old. And then he has a program laid out that you follow, and then has drills and training sessions for you to run. So I figured that, hell, I'll just roll with that. So, with that, so I ended up purchasing the program, and I've been following it, at least thus far, to the T. There's some things that I'm kind of jumping up ahead on, but it's just because Vader is just advancing a little bit faster than what I thought he would. And I just, with Vader, his personality is He's got a good personality. He's super attentive, and he's super smart. Like I'm just sometimes I'm kind of blown away on how like smart he is. And then this could just be any lab out there, right? But I just never had, like I said, I never had a lab, and I never had, besides my German Shepherd when I was young, I've never had a dog that had smarts like that, right? So the dogs that I have experience with, I had a pug, and then I have an English bulldog. So that's a huge contrast going from those dogs, the little short smash face dogs who are stubborn, and kind of go about their own way of doing things, and you just kind of got to deal with them, or you got to kind of coax them into doing what you want them to do. But it's a huge contrast going from one of those dogs to a lab. So I could just be amazed at just the difference of it. But me personally, I think he's very smart. And his drive to do things is crazy, especially right now. Our training is more treat driven, and he's super responsive. He does it without treats, but when treats are involved, it's like it's crazy how quick he moves to do, whatever command that I give him. So, with that, I'll get into the training update. So with the Lone Duck program, Bob highlights, excuse me, I've flipped through these papers. Bob highlights a checklist of things of milestones that your dog should be at a certain age. Now, obviously, I'm going to try to stick to this. And, this doesn't have to be the end all. Like if he's not meeting one of these requirements, whatever, that's okay. I'm going to move at the pace of Vader. I'm not going to get upset if we're not reaching milestones, etc. It's not going to be his fault. It's going to be mine. Because if he's not able to do something, it's because I didn't train him correctly. And that's going to be kind of like that's going to be my mindset going through this, training with him is, it's not him, it's me. And I'm going to have to, if he's not getting something, I'm going to have to get better at training him, and it's not him better at listening. So that's going to be my mindset going through this. But so, I'll just read this off to you guys. His 8 to 12 week checklist, which, like I said, I got him at 12 weeks. Actually, he was 13 weeks. So there are some things that I want to make sure that he had. There were some guidelines here that I wanted him to abide by. So at the end of the 8 to 12 week checklist, your dog should have a positive relationship with the kennel and use it as a safe and calm space. So with that, he was at the breeder. He was in a larger kennel. Basically, it was maybe like a 5x5 fenced off area. So it wasn't very small. So I got him the smallest kennel that they, make. And the reason being that is the less space they have, the less they want to use the bathroom, the less space they have to do whatever, pee, poop, chew their way out of the kennel, etc. Right? That has to be a space where they can fit into it, and that's it. So had to build that. He had to adapt to that kennel, which was pretty easy. There were some times where he was kind of yelping and barking and stuff like that, and I had to go there and kind of, grab his muzzle, tell him quiet, and just reinforce being quiet in the kennel. So teaching quiet in that kennel was a huge thing for me, and I started it pretty early. I mean, there was times where I was just sitting by the kennel And if he would yelp, I'd reach in, grab his muzzle, tell him quiet. And as soon as he calmed down, I'd close the door and then sit there and wait. And as soon as he started whining again, I'd repeat it. And that only took me a couple hours basically for him to finally get it and say, okay, I need to be quiet when I'm in here. So the 2 is responding accurately to the commands of quiet, sit, and kennel 90% of the time during low distraction, short training, and short training sessions with treats. So he's met all those requirements. He sits, especially with treats, sit, kennel, and he's super, super quick with it. So he met that. And then having 3 is having fun, playing in your house, including simple retrieving without unwanted behavior. So, he retrieves well. I sit in the house. I just sit down and throw it down my hallway. He goes and he gets it and brings it back. He was already retrieving when I got him. I don't know how much retrieving that Noah was doing with him, but he retrieved pretty well for a puppy his age. And then 4, having a successful bathroom routine that mostly eliminates accidents around your house. So with that, the routine is when he comes out of his kennel, he's going directly outside to go to the bathroom. And monitoring his liquid intake, water, how much he drinks. I don't let him just sit there and drink a gallon of water. He damn near drinks a gallon of water today, but I don't let him just sit at the water bowl nonstop. So we've been pretty successful with that. With the Giardia and stuff like that. He had some issues in his kennel, but since that's cleared, we've been, I think we've had 1 or maybe 2 accidents, but once again, it's my fault. Or whoever else is supervising, not letting him out of his kennel often enough. So we've been pretty successful with the bathroom routine. Now we're going, as soon as we go out, I just tell him to go potty. He goes, sniffs the grass, takes a piss, and then either he's got to poop or not, and then we can go back in the house. So 5, they've been introduced to water and birds, as well as a variety of experiences with new people, places, and things. So the only thing we haven't done is introduce him to birds. So, which is coming soon. So I have a coworker that his dad raises pigeons. So they're going to donate. I say donate because I'm not going to borrow them. So they're going to donate some pigeons, and we'll see how he interacts with that. So that's coming soon. Now water was something that I was a little apprehensive on, as far as I thought I was going to have to do a lot to get him into water. So we went camping last week, and they have this nice freshwater river that runs through. It's not fast flowing. It's just a standing river. And, I get my swim trunks on, and I'm thinking I'm going to have to hop in the water with him and kind of entice him to come into the water. So we get down to the water. I unhook him from his leash, and he just takes off and just runs into the water full speed. So I was like, well, I guess I don't have to introduce him to water anymore. He's already acclimated to it. So I decided I brought some bumpers, and he was retrieving bumpers back to me as I was throwing them into the water. So I was super surprised, super excited about it. And that first day, he basically swam until he basically gave me that look like, bro, I'm tired. I can't do it no more. So super excited about that. New people, new places and things. Once again, we were camping. There was a lot of people who came over to him, met him. And he went and met a few other people on his own and a couple other dogs, etc. So a lot of socialization opportunities when we went camping. So I was pretty excited about that. Now, another thing I wanted to touch on, since I'm a rookie handler or rookie dog trainer now. I'm a trainer in training, being self-trained. I'm going to plan on videoing all of Vader's training and I've been videoing up to this point. I just haven't shot the podcast yet, which I'm doing now. So I have videos already that are recorded that I'll start posting after I post this podcast. So I'm going to post videos with me starting with him from day one all the way until he starts hunting. And even after, there's some things that I'm going to be doing with him after this season per se. Like finishing the training. He's going to have enough to go get birds by the end of the season, but I really want to get into the casting, etc. But we can get into that a little bit later. So, yeah, I'm going to capture all of the training for you guys. So if you guys are watching this and you guys are thinking about going into training the dog yourself, you guys can use me as the test dummy to figure out if you want to do it or not. So, let's see, plans for Vader this season. So obviously, I need to get up on the training. I need to really hunker down and really start putting in a lot of work with Vader. My goal for Vader this year is to at least get 1 or 2 hunts towards the end of the season. So I'm thinking January. Let's see. He's born in, let's see. I'm just seeing how old he's going to be. Okay, so in December, he's going to be about 8 months. So he might be able to hunt in December too, just depending on where we're at, obedience-wise and drive-wise. And, there's a few things that I have to... There's a lot of things that I gotta do. This is, I'm thinking too far ahead. We'll take it one day at a time. But I hope to have him in the blind a few times towards the end of the season. So we'll see how that goes. And hopefully I can put out a few videos where I'm not breathing 25 breaths a minute. So, other than that, we'll go into, and what I'll do is I'll have like a kind of a podcast where I'm kind of giving updates on Vader, on where he's at, and then kind of share with you guys the goals for the time period. And then follow up with videos of me actually training towards those milestones. Okay. So, with that, the current plans for Vader, and we have this 3 to 5 month checklist. So this is what I'm going to be focused on the next couple of months. So number 1 is sitting while you walk around them. So working patience on them sitting. And then sitting on the Cato board or Momar stand for more than 30 seconds. So I've this is funny because I ordered that a while ago and kind of been working with him on that already. And he kind of gravitates toward that. It's like a little platform for him to sit on. He really likes sitting on that. So he's actually meeting that requirement already. He's sitting on that well more than 30 seconds. And then number 3, walking at heel. this is something that we're going to start working on. I haven't really worked on it at all with him. So something that we're going to work on. And then retrieving bird boy marks back to your general direction area, without playing keep away. So I'll be putting my kid to work on that one. And then number 5, retrieving birds back to your general area without playing keep away. So once again, once I get the birds, we'll work on that. And then swimming confidently. So he's already proven that he can do that. There's a few things that he has to get used to. There's a few times when we were camping that he got vertical. And then he kind of started to, pat the top of the water, and he's plunking and stuff like that. And I was able to get in there and lift his hind leg or his back up and kind of get him horizontal, and he was able to continue. So just getting him acclimated to, hey, I have to stay horizontal. I can't get up like this, or else it's not gonna end good. And then going anywhere and meeting anyone is number 7 on that checklist. And like I said, he doesn't have any issue meeting anyone. He loves the attention. So that's going to be our focus for the next, I just say, month and a half or so. And then once we get to the end of this, I'll kind of check back in with you guys, do something else like this, hopefully a little bit shorter. There's a lot of information I had to cover on this one, but and then hopefully you guys can just watch the progression of me and Vader as we get him closer to the season. So like I said, I'm super excited. I hope this really I don't know. I hope this gives you guys some entertainment, because there's going to be some times where I'm frustrated. There's going to be some times where Vader doesn't want to do what he's asked, and there's going to be some times where I don't feel like dealing with it, etc. But you guys are going to get the raw emotion, the raw cut. I'm not going to put on all the pretty stuff where he's all nice and refined. I'm going to put in the struggles, the mess ups, the errors, etc. So hopefully you guys can follow along, and hopefully those who are thinking about going into this journey themselves, you guys can feel a little bit more confident about doing it. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and close it out. Please follow us on YouTube, Instagram, subscribe, drop comments on things that you guys do want to see. If you guys have any questions, reach out. I'll try to answer them if based on my experience. Or if you guys want to share your experience, please reach out. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a professional in this field by far, and I need as much help as I can get. And I'm willing to accept all advice, feedback, etc. So, all right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll let you guys later. Peace out.